Multiple rounds of severe weather and flooding will inundate the central U.S., the Midwest, and parts of the Deep South in the coming days. What I'm going to do is go through the excessive rainfall outlook for the next 5 days. And then I'm going to review the severe weather parameters and outlook for the next several days as well. And then go over some optic conditions. So starting with the excessive rainfall here. And we haven't talked about Florida much, but the next several days we're going to have a chance of heavy rain with the potential along the east coast here and parts of south central Florida, right? And this is where the most moisture is expected to be, just right along the east coast of Florida and parts of inland Florida here. A couple inches of rain expected today. Going into day two, that threat spreads a little bit further to the west here and southwest, generally down to Fort Myers, Arcadia, towards Lakeland, and north towards the Palm Coast. All right. Although a marginal risk, still Florida needs the rain here, so not necessarily a bad thing. And here's where the expectation again for the heaviest rainfall be right along the east coast is for tomorrow as well. And we go into let's see, Wednesday here, right? Right along the east coast again of Florida, we have excessive rainfall potential here. And as a reminder, what that means, you got potential for flooding within 25 miles of a point here. Exceeding flash flood guidance, excuse me, within 25 miles of a point right along the coast. Very low-lying areas here, so any persistent rainfall will likely lead to flooding here. And here's the focused amounts of precip expected along the east coast of Florida. So 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, again, possible over a span of, each day. Getting this much rain could really lead to flooding concerns here. Moving into the central U.S., on Thursday, we have severe weather also, but we're gonna talk about flooding here. So here's your flooding risk, generally from parts of northern Oklahoma towards let's see, southeast Nebraska, southern Iowa, towards Ottawa, towards Springfield, Illinois, uh, just south of Jefferson City here, Independence, Kansas, and parts of Oklahoma. So a wide area of flooding possible again on Thursday. The threat remains here into Friday as we start getting into a more southerly flow here. And we'll review that in a part of this forecast, but I want to go over this first. So pretty much in the same area here, potential for flooding going into Friday and maybe beyond. So you can see where the greatest flooding risk is through 7 days, right along the Florida coast, 4 or 5 inches, maybe even more of rain. And in the central U.S., generally from Emporia, Kansas, towards Kansas City, right in the bullseye here, parts of Oklahoma, parts of central Texas, and up into Wisconsin. So broad southerly flow here. You see we have a donut hole, I guess you would say, in the southeast once again, which just doesn't help with our drought situation. So to start off with, this is Wednesday, April 8th at 8 a.m., right? So you have a mid-level feature up here to the north with a disturbance moving through the central U.S. here. If we put on the SPC overlay for day 3, you see where we have that severe weather threat, all right? So that disturbance moves out. We have that severe weather there. So one of the parameters we always look at here with severe weather is dew point, right? And dew points are pretty marginal here up into the where that severe weather will be. So likely elevated convection is part of that disturbance will move through the area. If you pull up the radar here, I went ahead and overlaid the SPC outlook on the radar here. This looks like an overnight event with elevated convection firing. And this is the NAM 12 kilometer. So not a lot of resolution here, but you can see what we're looking at here with convection. Not expecting a really high-end event here. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but generally that's where that is. Severe threat overnight, Wednesday into Thursday morning of firing up here. So as we go into the weekend, we have the return to severe weather. This is day 6, so we already have 15% risk of severe weather in parts of western Texas into parts of western Oklahoma here, generally from just all the way down to the Mexican border towards Wichita Falls, Eastland, Texas here, western Oklahoma toward Woodward, and a small part of Kansas here, not a very big area. Um, like I guess the Boot Hill or something you want to call. I don't know what you call this area here, where it's a little sliver of Oklahoma, but most of northern Texas on the northwestern edge as well. And again, into Sunday, that threat moves a little bit further east here. So this is the climatologically favored areas as we get into springtime. So I'm not totally surprised at this threat here, but we've had a lot of severe weather in the past several days, right? So return to this so quickly is a little bit of a surprise. But anyway, Oklahoma City looks to be in this all the way down towards Weatherford, Texas, down towards Kerrville, all the way down the Mexican border, right into parts of New Mexico here, Plains, Texas, all the way up towards um, just south of Great Bend in Kansas. As we get a little bit further out into day 8, which is Monday, they don't have anything on the map just yet. We'll see how this plays out in the coming days. So going into the weekend, we have a severe threat here on Saturday, right on the map, and on Sunday. See, moves a little further to the east here. So we got 15% of severe risk at both days. On the middle pane here, you have dew points, and you see in the blues we have 60-degree dew points already surging to the north here, and mixed layer Cape values, which is instability on the right here. So as this mid-level low swings to the east, dew points, 60-degree dew points surge to the north, with plenty of fuel here for storms. Okay, I'm going to remove the Storm Prediction Center outlook here. This mid-level feature swings to the east, and conditions will likely quiet down, but you still have a broad southerly flow here with dew points going all the way in the 60s, all the way up to the north here, with maybe severe weather further to the north or to the south here as we get into next week. It's a little bit at the end of the forecast period. You see the general consensus here, right? Like I said, this is the GFS model. Let's take a look at the European model real quickly. So, got the GFS model on the left, the European on the right. The European is arguably a better model, but we like to compare the two, right? So, on the left here, starting off on Sunday, April 12th at 8 p.m., your GFS swings that trough to the east here, and so does the European, but more of a closed low, right? So, and it arguably is slower here with it as well. You see, not nearly as progressive. April 14th at 5 a.m. It's spread out a little bit here. You see this April 14th. It still has a closed low here, and maybe upper level feature here to the north, which isn't necessarily it's not really part of the system down here. So quite a difference here in the models. We get this far out, so we'll really have to see how this plays out in the coming days. Just want to show you the differences here as we get towards the extended. And you notice this is the 12Z versus the 0Z GFS. The European only goes this far out at this with this model run, so this may have changed, but that's the most recent data I have. Once again, I appreciate everybody, and thanks for tuning in today. I hope you got something out of this. If you need anything or have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know what your location is. I appreciate it. Have a great day.